Hello! This video will show you how to complete your annual disclosure in the new eDisclosure system. Once you receive the email indicating that your disclosure is ready, click the link in the email to access the system. Log in with your Northwestern Net ID and password. This is the welcome page, which provides basic information about Northwestern's expectations and policies relative to conflict of interest. The menu items on the left provide additional information regarding policies, definitions, and training resources for assistance in navigating the system. You may refer to policies if you would like by clicking one of the links. To begin your disclosure, click Disclose. This page contains instructions for completing your disclosure and navigating through the system. You can navigate through the eDisclosure system by hitting the Continue or Previous Page buttons. You can also use the Jump To menu to navigate between sections. You can save your disclosure at any time by clicking Save, and clicking Exit will take you out of the disclosure at any time and return you to the main page. Sarah Maroon is an investigator on a research project subject to Northwestern's Conflict of Interest in Research policy. This policy requires training every 4 years. Sarah's last training date was in September of 2012, which means she'll be due for an update in September of 2016. If she would like, she can review the sponsored research training PDF and attest to completing the training, which will refresh her training date. If she would like to do this later, she can simply click Continue. You have now entered your actual disclosure. Please note that throughout the disclosure pages, help bubble icons can be clicked to provide additional guidance and helpful hints about the questions being asked or system functionality. Also, clicking on any underlined word will display a definition of that term. On this page, you are being asked to disclose via a yes or no response whether you have any relationships or interests with external entities that are related to your institutional responsibilities. Read through the questions and applicable definitions. If you are uncertain what exactly is being asked, click the help bubble icon for guidance. If you do have a relationship or interest meeting the criteria for disclosure, select yes. If not, select no. This page may look different depending on whether you disclosed any relationships last year. If you did have interest last year, you may see pre-populated information, as is the case for this user. If your disclosure looks like this, review the previously disclosed information. If the relationship is ongoing, select Edit, which will ask you for more details about your activities in 2015. If the relationship is over, simply click Remove. As an example, let's say that in the last calendar year, Sarah formed a new startup company called New Company. So I will select Yes, which reveals the Add Disclosure button. Clicking this button takes you to a screen that will ask you to select the name of the entity you have a relationship with. If there are 0 results, you can simply type the name into the box below and hit OK. The next screen asks for more information about my relationship with NewCo. A red asterisk by any response field indicates that the field is required. If there is no red asterisk next to the response field, you are free to enter more information you feel is relevant and/or may be helpful to the individual reviewing your disclosure. However, it is not required. If you do not enter required responses upon a yes answer to any question, you will receive an error message. In this case, we neglected to answer the question of whether or not the entity was established by students or postdocs under our evaluative supervision. And in this case, my answer would be no. Because I typed the entity in, I now must provide additional information about NewCo. the company is for profit, but it is privately held, so it is not publicly traded. This screen is now asking more information about my ownership interest in NewCo. It is me. I have founder's shares, but the value cannot be readily determined, so I'll say 0 company. Once you've answered all the questions, click Continue. This screen provides a summary of your relationship with NewCo. If everything is accurate, click Return to Relationships page, which will bring you back here. That is the only entity that Sarah has a relationship with, so I will click Continue. If you do have relationships with other companies, select Add a Disclosure again for each entity. This next page asks a series of yes/no questions about any other activities you may have had in the last year. If you select yes to any question, it will ask for more information. Once you have answered all of the questions, click Continue. On the summary page, you can view or print your disclosure to review and verify that everything is correct. If you need to make an edit to something disclosed, or add something you forgot to disclose, navigate back to the question using the Previous Page button or the Jump To menu. Once you are ready to submit your disclosure, click Submit. The system will ask you to confirm that your disclosure is accurate and complete. By checking the checkbox, you are attesting to that, and click OK. This is your confirmation. Your disclosure has been successfully submitted. You can see that your disclosure status is now under review. If you had nothing to disclose, your disclosure status will be No Review Required. That's it, you're done. No further action is needed on your part unless you receive additional notifications requesting clarification. Thank you for taking the time to complete your annual disclosure. If you have any questions, please contact the Conflict of Interest Office either by phone at 847-467-4515 or by email at nucoi@northwestern.edu.